April 19th, 2009. I'm just here to talk about a couple news stories real quick. First off, you got CNBC, and they do a little story called America Really Turning the Corner, and they have these guys, Jerry Bowyer, Doug Cass, and Don Luskin on the show, along with Peter Schiff. And they really put these four guys all in the same realm. Like, they're all equal in their ability to predict the future outlook on the economy. But the only guy who's been right out of these four is Peter Schiff. The only guy who I see as credible is Peter Schiff. You got this guy Jerry Bowyer, who writes a book on Bush being a misunderstood president who fixed the economy. What? Then you got this guy Doug Cass, who is writes an article criticizing Warren Buffett, who, if you know anything about Warren Buffett, you know, the famous investor, the guy who is always right, the Oracle, Warren Buffett. And then you have Don Luskin, this trend macros advisor for Wells Fargo, this guy who works for the banks. And these are the people that are supposed to be have the right interests for the American people on our mass media source, along with the host of the show who's on their side. So really it's four up against one, and the only one guy saying the right thing is Peter Schiff here. Peter Schiff, right again, talking about the fundamentals of the United States economy just not being there. Once again, holding strong to his belief that I agree with. Just because there's a rally doesn't mean anything. You got these three so-called experts saying it's this optimistic, with their optimistic views of the rebound and everything. I don't really think these people really believe what they're saying. They just want you as an investor to believe what they're saying. You got to look at the way they're thinking. Their interests are not the same as yours. They're just looking for profit. They probably see it just the same as Peter. They probably know hyperinflation is right around the corner. They don't want to talk about it. This news story was it when they introduced Peter with these guys. Like, they introduce Peter and they say, here's Peter Schiff, author of Bull Moves in Bear Markets. Like that's his only accomplishment. Like he didn't predict the crash in the first place. Like he's not Ron Paul's economic advisor. This is the guy who's been right. This is the guy we need to listen to. Other people who have been right: Gerald Celente. February, he predicts tax riots, and here we are. Just last Wednesday, you have Tea Party tax riots. So here's another guy, Gerald Celente, already right, already correct. Then you got a story, RT, Obama passes laws that allow the government to search your PC, your laptop, your hard drive. So here we go, more civil liberties being stripped. I personally don't like that, but people, especially around here, younger people don't want to think about it. They don't want to think about the future of the economy. They don't want to think about the government, which is getting bigger and bigger every day, passing more laws that are violating our civil liberties every single day, and people do not want to think about it. I don't understand this. This is not making any sense. You have kids here and they're working all day. It's like, if you're working all day long out in the field, you're shoveling or you're plowing or you're working in a field, and the reason you're working in the field is because you were promised that at the end of the day there was going to be a steak dinner, and if you worked in this field you're going to get this big dinner. And then I come out to the field and I come talk to you and I say, hey, listen, I have all these facts here. The chef's dead and there's not going to be this big dinner. There's not going to be a feast, and you just keep on working in the field. This is what these college kids are doing. They're not changing their path at all. They're just saying, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about this. A lot of people don't want to think about it, but the government is getting out of control. And if there is going to be some kind of movement towards stopping this government control, it's got to start from the ground up. And when they start taking your civil liberties, they're going to be hard to get back. So I'm just reporting some of the stories I saw today. When you have CNBC, which is looking biased in the Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of press, that's debatable if we have that. We still have the internet, thank God. But this story, RT, saying that the government now has access to your hard drive. So if you're trying to play the economy, you got to look at the big picture. I feel like you got to look at the fact that this U.S. government is radically changed. A lot of things going on right now. I'm going to keep on reporting information, and hopefully people can get back to me who are thinking the same terms as me. Thanks a lot.